What's up? It's your boy Rob Ricks, Angry Jackalope. So we're going to talk about Avengers. Oh, we're going to talk about Avengers. The Infinity War. Or The Avengers, the Infinity War. Anyway, let's get right to it. I just did a thorough breakdown, and this will be spoiler filled. So spoiler alert. Okay, if you don't want any spoilers, you need to back the fuck up out now, because here we go. So I just did a blog where I talked about Thanos and how it's different in the movies compared to the comic books. And for you folks that don't want to go read all of the blog and everything, I'll just summarize for you. So basically, in the comic book, Thanos is driven by his love for Mistress Death. So all of his actions are with the goal and intent of wooing Death. In the movies, it's not that way at all. He is driven by this motive of saving the universe by killing half of it, thereby allowing resources and things of that nature for the survivors to thrive on. Big, huge difference in ideology as well as motivation. So that is going to make him more difficult to deal with in the movie side than it was to deal with him in the comic side. Because on the comic side, basically it boiled down to, just emotions. He wanted love. He got rejected. He wanted to prove his love, so he did certain things, and it wasn't really in his heart to do these great atrocities and stuff, and so he kind of subconsciously allowed himself to be defeated. Well, when you have an ideology of, well, I'm saving everybody, that makes it that much harder to contend with. So there's your motivation on on the Thanos side. So when he snaps that finger and half of everybody goes bye-bye, there you go. It was a epic movie, no doubt about it, very historic. And there's a couple of continuity issues that I do believe are harbingers of where we're going with the next Avengers movie. So let's talk about a couple of key characters. First and foremost, let's talk about the Incredible Hulk. So the Hulk in Thor Ragnarok was the dominant persona. He was out, Banner was the alter ego. We see the Avengers opening up and Loki calling out, well, we've got a Hulk. And Hulk battles Thanos, and then he gets his ass beat. By which point, the Bifrost is open, and Hulk is sent to Earth, hopefully rallying Earth's heroes to kind of fight the oncoming threat of Thanos. And then we notice Hulk doesn't come out again after the ass whooping. Some people have speculated he didn't want to come back out because he suffered such a defeat at the hand of Thanos. And while I do believe there was a little bit of ego hurt there, I don't think that's the reason. I think Hulk didn't want to come out because he witnessed so many people, my theory, he witnessed so many people die on Thor's ship and was pretty much helpless against that. I don't think he wanted to feel that impotence again. Also, he has always been second fiddle to Banner on Earth, and he does not like to give up that control. He didn't want to have Banner in the driver's seat. I think that kind of pisses him off, and he definitely doesn't want Banner calling him out, hey, Hulk, come on, I need you now. He's like, no, fuck off, I'm not coming out. I think he wants to come out on his own terms, and he wants Banner to really appreciate him. I think Banner has always looked at the Hulk as being a curse, and the Hulk is like, dude, I'm not a curse. I am a blessing for you. I have saved your puny ass time and time again, and when I was on Sakaar, people worshipped me and gave me my respect that I deserve. So I think that was what was happening there. Let's talk about Doctor Strange now. So in the very beginning of the movie, Doctor Strange says, look, if it comes down to it, I'm not going to save you or Spider-Man's ass. My responsibility is to the time stone. That's it. So if you guys die, I'm good with that. And then we see a Stark turnaround, Stark, pun intended, turnaround when Thanos is about to kill Tony Stark. And it's not, my theory again, it's not because Doctor Strange suddenly felt he wanted to save Tony Stark. Tony Stark plays a pivotal role in the final play. And Strange even alludes to that when after he gives the stone up, he says we're in the end game now. And recall also in the movie, he said there was 14 million possibilities and only one they were victorious. And the fact that Strange seemed very oddly at peace and happy, well, maybe happy's not the word, but smug after he gave Thanos the stone leads me to think two things. One, Strange fucked with that time stone to have it do something. So he baited in Thanos after the stone was manipulated to do something. And we see some interesting time discrepancies, especially at the end credits where you've got why am I drawing us Fury? Yeah, Fury being driven. She's telling him, hey, we see another signature bigger than the one in New York. And then right after that, very quickly, we see people dissolving. Now, we recall when they landed in Wakanda, they had the shield up. There was this whole long process of battle. I mean, it was a big, long, drawn-out, epic battle. It wasn't something that was over in 30 seconds. Okay, so there's a time discrepancy there, and I think it all comes back to the time stone. Time will tell if that theory is correct, if what I think is correct there. And Tony Stark, the reason he's important, there's a part early in the movie where he's messing around with a vase, a big vase. Well, that's actually an artifact, and that artifact allows someone to view into alternate dimensions and find answers to things. Doctor Strange would use that in the comics from time to time when he was figuring things out. And there's a part where Tony Stark seems to realize it's much more than an average decorative piece, and Strange smacks him and is like, hey, don't fuck with that. That's important. So again, these are all little hints and tidbits, you know. Do I think things are going to end up with the heroes coming back in the end? Yeah, I do. I totally do. Because, you know, you got a new Spider-Man movie coming out. You've got all these other ones coming out. And the only way they could pull that shit off is if they did a Fox and they do this epic reboot where they're like, yeah, everything that happened. The only way they could pull that off is if they did a Fox. There we go. If they did Fox and what they did with X-Men and do this reboot and say, oh, everything that happened before this doesn't matter, but people will lose their shit. So I don't think that's a possibility. But what I do think is going to happen is we're going to see Captain Marvel. I think we're going to see Adam Warlock in some way being referenced or something. It was in the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 where there was the cocoon, and that cocoon is what holds Adam Warlock's form. But there's not enough backstory there for that really to make sense. So it looks like a lot of this is going to rest on the back of Captain Marvel. So we'll see what happens on her movie, because her movie will pop off before the next Avengers. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, her movie actually takes place in the past. So again, it might just be a self-contained thing inside of the Avengers movie that catches everything up to where somehow they unravel and undo everything that Thanos did. And, you know, in the comics, that shit happens all the time. But in movies, it's kind of a played out thing where people get really mad if they kind of find a way to do this cheaply. Now, let's talk about the Soul Stone. Let's talk about Gamora and Thanos. Now, in the comics, he, in his heart, is not this truly evil entity. He's just trying to win the love of his life, which happens to be the cosmic entity death. In the movies, he's doing it for the ideology, but he sacrificed his love, the love that between a father and daughter of Gamora, the only object in the universe that he actually loved. So when he ends up after doing the snap and he's inside of the Soul Stone and Gamora asks him, "Are you happy? Did you get everything?" And what's interesting is he had to sacrifice her to get the Soul Stone. So in theory, her soul exists within the Soul Stone. So that baby version, the child version of her, as he recalls her in her most innocent, is most likely her. She's not dead. Her body might be dead, but her soul is inside of the Soul Stone. So in the past, Adam Warlock has utilized the Soul Stone to defeat Thanos. So there could be a twist here where Gamora uses her influence inside of the Soul Stone to sway Thanos in some subconscious way, because the people that survived were the original Avengers, and you would think an omnipotent being like Thanos, who could also use the Time Stone to see all the possible outcomes, could also use the Power Stone, the Space Stone, and all this other stuff to discern possible outcomes. The logical, smart thing to do when he snapped was to take out, just with a random thought, remove all threats that have even the slightest chance of unraveling what I've done. But maybe subconsciously he kind of wants everything to unravel, thereby getting back Gamora. And I think that's probably going to be a likely piece here. Now, one thing to note also is this is one universe. They didn't say explicitly that snap took out every life across all realities. It was in that universe that he existed in. It doesn't say alternate universes don't come to play because of the disruption and imbalancing of this one particular universe. So we could see some of the cosmic entities that showed up in the comics actually showing up in the movies, which would be a little interesting because, when Fox tried to do Galactus inside of Fantastic Four, it wasn't this big giant being that everybody had recognized. It was this big black inky cloud. It was a really cheese dick thing, and I was kind of like, oh, fuck, are you serious? So, it'll be interesting to see. We got no Silver Surfer. We got none of those type of epic characters. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I definitely think at the end of the day, this movie was really well done. And as a huge Thanos fan, I actually really enjoyed the ending. And I thought, it's nice to see him actually have the ruthlessness, the stick-to-itness, and then the unending, just sheer force of will to achieve a goal that probably nobody else could accomplish. So from that point of view, I walked away pretty happy. Unlike most people, I think most people walked away from the movie really upset because a lot of their favorite characters had died. But I walked away like, hey man, good job Thanos. Thanos is one of my favorite characters. So we'll see what happens a year from now with the next one. I think I covered pretty much all the things I wanted to cover. Yeah, that's it. All right, so there's my also final review. Love the movie. Angry Jackalope approved. Can't wait for it to come out on Blu-ray. I will be picking up a copy of that. I hope they have some cool collector's type thing with that. Maybe a Thanos statue or Infinity Gauntlet or something like that. I think that would be really neat. So we'll see what happens. But that's it. All right, if you like it, please subscribe. Tell your friends far and wide. Until next time, please be good to yourself, good to each other. Go out, live life, have some adventures, ride the bus till the wheels fall off, tell some stories, find some love, and all that jazz. Until next time.